Hello, my dear students, welcome to e-learning. In this video, we will discuss about what is a character, the characters of the novel. So let's get started. What is a character? The character is the name of a literary genre. It is a short and usually witty sketch in prose of distinctive type of person. Characters are the person represented in a dramatic or narrative work. A character may remain essentially stable or unchanged in outlook and disposition from beginning to end of a work, or may undergo a radical change either through a gradual process of development or as the result of a crisis. Major characters: Ralph, Piggy, Jake, Simon, Roger, Sam and Eric. Ralph. Ralph may be described as the protagonist of the novel. Initially, he is the chosen leader of the group of boys on the island. Ralph's optimism. Ralph's optimism about their being rescued. Ralph's most distinguishing characteristics is his strong belief that someone will come to rescue the boys. Initially, he is so assured of this that he doesn't worry about their situation. Later, he insists the boys keep a fire going as a signal to passing boats. Ralph's clinging to his beliefs establishes the conflict in the story between himself and Jack. Ralph is an embodiment of democracy. Ralph is not as thoughtful or as questioning as Piggy, not as spiritual as Simon or as aggressive as Jake. There is something good natured about Ralph. He reminds us of someone we know or would want to know. Rob shows fairness when he tries to share leadership of the boys with Jack, and he shows common sense in establishing rules to run the assemblies. Rob Rob's he is an embodiment of democracy because he is willing to be a leader but knows that it's important for each of the boys to be able to speak his mind. When there is a decision to be made, he listens to the boys. Even when the boys do not live up to the responsibilities they have agreed on, Rob does not use punishment to get them to do what he believes is right. Instead, he tries to talk sensibly to them. You might consider Rob a strong person who does not want to use force as a method to get things done on the island. On the other hand, Rob could be called stupid for not using force to take control of the boys in an extreme situation. Depending on your beliefs, you may find yourself siding with the attitudes of some of the important characters. Rob is a rounded personality. Rob undergoes a profound change of personality during the island stay. Because of Jake's aggressiveness, the fear of the beast, and his own insistence on a signal fire, Rob begins to grapple with the problems of being a leader. The playful part of his nature is lost as he begins to recognize that he doesn't have Piggy's skill for thinking. Unsuccessfully, he tries to ponder the boy's fear and he tries to act like an adult. He becomes more considerate of others as his self-awareness grows. Rob can be said to represent the all-round, basically good person. He is not perfect, but he recognizes the need for responsibility and he takes it on even though he is not particularly skilled at it. Piggy. Piggy provides all the other characters with a verbal and physical punchback. We come across numerous instances of him being bullied by the other boys, especially Jack. Piggy's disability set him apart from the other boys. Piggy he has several disabilities. His asthma, his obesity, and his near blindness. All this set him apart from the other boys. But his illnesses have isolated him and given him time to think about life. Like Simon, Piggy is wiser than most of the boys. However, he is able to speak up at meetings more than Simon can, and he becomes Rob's respected friend. Piggy represents civilization and its hold on men. As advisor to Rob, Piggy understands more than Rob does. It is Piggy who knows that blowing the conch will call the boys together. Piggy tries to help Rob keep order. He also tries to think what others would do if they were in the same situation. Piggy is a thinking person, one who has a strong belief in scientific explanation and rational solution to problems. However, Piggy has his blind spots. He wants to believe that once you are an adult, you no longer fear the dark and that life can always be explained. After Simon has been murdered, Piggy tries to deny and rationalize the killing. Piggy is Golding's argument for the need of civilization and his case against man's return to a more innocent state in nature. Piggy's presence on the island is a constant reminder of how thinking people live. In the jungle, he becomes weakened, civilization recedes, and with his death, the law of the jungle prevails. Jack. Jack. Jack is strong-willed and fearless. He exhibits a great desire for violence, savagery, and power. Right from the onset of the story, we have Jack lusting for power. He is greatly annoyed when he loses to Ralph. He is the character who has the most conflict with Ralph. Jack is the character, of course, who has the most conflict with Ralph. He's tall and thin with red hair and freckles. Jack is merging the boys' choir down the beach when we first meet him. Although the word military is never used about Jake, there is something about his manner that suggests military or authoritarian power. Jake becomes jealous of Rob. In contrast with Rob's good naturedness, Jake is jealous when the boys don't elect him as leader. When Jake isn't getting his way, he lashes out, often attacking Piggy, a boy much weaker than him. Jake is like a bully you might know in school. When he doesn't get what he wants, you know that he will get even. Jake changes as the story advances. At the beginning, he can make himself kill the first piglet they encounter, but Jake learns to trail the pigs, smelling their steamy droppings in order to find them. He allows his animal instinct, which had been restrained in the choir, to surface. He makes use of mass, dance, and ritual, knowing they will loosen the beast in himself and the other boys. He creates the chant, kill the pig, slit her throat, bash her in, which is used first to reenact the killing of the pig in a ritual dance later to kill Simon. Jake's animal instincts flourish in the jungle and he encourages them in the other boys. As he and his methods become more primitive, they come in direct conflict with Ralph. So, next character we have is Simon. Simon is more at one with nature than the other boys, and importantly, more at one with himself. Our first impression of Simon is that he is a little odd or weird. He is the kid that others gang up on or laugh at because of the strange things he says. He is friends with no one in particular, and no one really befriends him. Even though he is willing to help build shelters with Ralph, he often disappears on his own. The reason Simon may be a loner is that he has a disability, which makes him slightly different from the other boys. Simon is the only character who communicates with an evil figure rather than a loving God. He is the only boy who hears Lord of the Flies speak and learns that the beast is within himself rather than in the jungle. He understands what most boys of his age never think about because of his spiritual nature. Simon alone knows for certain that there is no such thing as a beast, that there is only the fear that is inside each boy. He knows that this is what terrifies them. It terrifies him also, and it makes him unable to talk about it. That is why when he does speak, the words come out so strangely. Simon is the most compassionate of the boys. He is like a priest or a saint, exactly the opposite of Jack. When Simon sees the dead man in the parachute, he frees him in spite of the horrors he feels. Simon is a character as well as a symbol. Truth becomes the first casualty, and Simon's struggle and faith bring him with the long tradition of truth seekers. Simon's attempt to tell the truth synchronizes with his death. Golding gives an epic dimension to Simon's death when the entire elemental nature pays a tribute to Simon. The infinite dark sky, ceaseless waves of eternal sea, the thunder and rain, the whole visions of sea burial reflects nature's glorification of a crucified martyr and places the saint to a cosmic perspective. Roger. Roger symbolizes brute force. Roger, he is called the right hand man of Jack, and he also has a darkly parallel relationship like Piggy has with Ralph. There is much conversation between Piggy and Ralph, but little between Jack and Roger. Roger carries off to an extreme Jack's aggressive use of force. Roger's brute force is indiscriminate. Roger is the cruelest of the character. And even though he doesn't play a large part in the story, his roles leaves the reader shuddering. Roger uses his spear to torment the soul after the boys have captured. Later he breaks about it, flaunting his meanness. He is responsible for murdering Piggy. After that, Roger also represents the words that develop in people when there is no civilization to keep them in line. Roger despises civilization and sees it as a hindrance to what he wants. Sam and Eric, they are a pair of light blonde identical twins. Sam and Eric are twins who are incapable of acting independently of one another. They seem to become one person answering to a name that has been slurred together into Sam and Eric. They represent loss of identity through fear of the beast. Minor character: Lidlands, Morris, Robert, Percival Wims, Madison, Johnny, and Henry. Lidlands, these are the leadless boys around ages 6 and up. They remain with Ralph during the mutiny. Morris, a Bigon who becomes one of Jake's key supporters, accompanying him on the raids on Ralph's camp. Robert, a Bigon who plays the role of the pig in one of the tribal dances that reenact a hunt. He is hurt when the dance turns into a fierce beating. Percival Wims Madison, a Lidland who has a nervous breakdown and is often picked on by the other Lidlands. He introduced the idea that the beast might arrive from the sea. Johnny, he is one of the smaller Lidlands who has a mean streak nonetheless. Henry, the biggest of the Lidlands, he is made the object of a mean-spirited prank by Roger. So from this we have come to the end of our video. So I believe you have understood the characters, both the major and minor character as well. Thank you.